Hello, Canucks fans, and welcome back to another episode of the Canucks Conversation, brought to you by the great folks over at Montana's. Folks, it's a Tuesday today. That means that it is Taco Tuesday.
Oh, baby.
$5 tacos, meaty tacos, over at Montana's. Go check them out. They've got daily deals, so regardless of what day you're listening to this, Montana's has a deal for you. On Mondays, it's half-price wings. Wednesday, it's all-you-can-eat ribs. Sunday, 15% off online takeout. And Thursdays and every day, daily drink deals. Go check them out. Montana's $5 tacos on Tuesday. 7 locations across British Columbia. Should I try to do this off memory again, Chris? I sometimes do this.
Yeah, normally you do, yeah.
Okay, let's do it. Fort St. John, Langley, Tawasin, Nanaimo, Victoria.
Don't forget
Prince George.
Yep, thank you. Last one.
Did I say Kelowna?
There you go.
Boom. Okay, that's the 7 locations of Montana, so be sure to go check them out.
Look at the size of that taco.
That's a meaty taco, as we like to say here. My name is Dave Quadrelli. I'm joined, as always, by the man who built the place, Chris Faber. Our technical producer is Alex Allard. And, folks, this is the Canucks Conversation.
Hold on. Alex, go back to that wide view of the camp. Look at how bad it looks outside today. Like, we've had days where it's been absolutely gorgeous. You can see the mountains in the background. You can, see some little bit of snow on the tips of the mountains and the beautiful sunshine. This looks like crap. This looks horrible.
And we overlook Rogers Arena.
Yeah, you can't quite see
it. Lot of media from around the country, around the continent, really, in attendance for the top prospects game in Langley tomorrow night.
Yeah, big night.
There's a Montana's out there. Go check it out.
That was Langley, yeah.
That wasn't what I was trying to say.
Okay.
I was making a point here that there's a lot of media in town right now, and there's a lot of people,
agents too.
A lot of agents. A lot of different people here to watch. I think there's this kid from North Van that's supposed to be pretty good.
I got some stuff tomorrow. I've been texting agents.
Okay, that's going to be really good. The other thing, there's a lot of visiting media in general this year that have come through and said, wow, the arena is going under renovations right now. And I'll just leave it at that. But we had some laughs with some Chicago reporters today as the Canucks get set to face the Chicago Blackhawks. Chris, this is Rick Tocchet's first game behind the bench as the Vancouver Canucks. What are you expecting tonight? Like, I liked the scrum today, and I have liked everything that's come out of Tocchet's mouth. And we're going to talk about best case, worst case scenario for the Canucks later on the show. But let's start with a quick preview of the game. Colin Delia gets started tonight. Let the record show I beat Drance to the tweet of confirming that Delia was the starter.
Yeah.
What do you think tonight, ahead of Tocchet's first game as Canucks head coach?
Yeah, I think they're going to I tell you what, you look at this 3 weeks ago and you're thinking, okay, they're going to roll through the Blackhawks when this happens. The Blackhawks are playing some pretty good hockey of late. And as a team that did an incredible job tanking, can you believe this? That so the Blackhawks, they've won 6 of their last 8 games. They're playing some pretty good hockey. Listen to this record in the 23 games prior. 2 wins, 20 losses, 1 overtime loss. Tell you, it makes Alex feel good as a Sens fan over there hearing what the Blackhawks have been doing this season. I mean, that was a horrendous run. They're playing some half-decent hockey of late. I think it's going to be a very interesting night. It could go a couple different ways, obviously. There's obviously only one chance to make a first impression on the fan base. Bruce Boudreau did a hell of a job that last year. We'll see what happens with Tocchet here. I think the guys are going to play. They're going to get a coach's bump, right? Like that's what's going to happen. The guys are going to come out and want to play good for this new coach. Jack Studnicka is playing on your top line. There's a lot of things to watch tonight. Yeah.
Okay.
And you mentioned the goalie, so Delia is going to get the start tonight. It looks like whatever. Okay.
Go on. Sorry.
There, I was about to hit a roll and you just knocked me over. Like one of those tower defense games I always see these commercials for. They got the zombies rolling together down a ball and they shooting cannons at him. But Ethan Bear was back on the ice today too. So good to see him back on the ice. He won't play tonight, according to Rick Tocchet. Lane Peterson and Riley Stillman were out there as well doing some skills work. Not a very busy practice aside from that. Just the 3 guys that I guess you could say are your projected scratches today playing tonight.
Where's the energy? Have a sip of your energy.
I had energy. And then you come out here and you cut me off because I can't say Colin Delia right.
You're talking about Delia. You're talking about, so Riley Stillman was an extra today.
I was on a roll.
Don't think he'll play tonight. Have a sip of that and let's get going here. The people want a show. Let's give them a show. Rick Tocchet spoke, and every time the guys open his mouth.
Check that flavor out. Sour Patch. No, wrong way there. Sour Patch Kids. Blue raspberry. It's delicious.
It actually does taste pretty good. I had a sip of it before the show, which is probably why I'm so fired up and waiting for you to get going here. I had 2 sips. I'm fired up. I'm ready to go.
That's true.
Rick Tocchet, I've talked about it. Every time the guy's opened his mouth so far, I've been impressed with him. And again, from a pure hockey perspective, everything he's saying, I like. He's not saying like, you know what? This is a tough roster to work with, so we're going to have to load up the top 6. Okay, now you got me fired up.
Because I see these articles by all these people outside the market. And a lot of these people outside the market are writing these articles like, here we go. Thank you. Fired up now. So the people outside the market, they're writing like, oh, Vancouver Canucks, like they got to give Rick Tocchet a better chance. Like they got to give him a better chance. It's like nobody's mad about Rick Tocchet taking over the Vancouver Canucks as the new head coach. I think he's likely one of the best 50 coaches in the world in hockey. Okay. He's going to be a guy who's going to bring a different look to this team and coach this team a different way. But nobody's like, screw Rick Tocchet. I'm not giving him a chance. There were some people that were tweeting like, fire Tocchet right off the bat. And
pay attention to Patrick and Steve.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying those people, it doesn't matter. Don't worry about that. That's nothing. That's not true. Everybody's giving him a chance. It's just the situation that led up to giving him the chance that was the problem. That's why people were the angriest about it. But I see all these people outside these market, they got 15 different outlets for the Athletic here all across the North America here saying, oh, Vancouver's not good. They're giving him a chance. Like, I think he's going to do a good job with this group. I think he's going to be a fine coach. And the most important thing for the actual organization is Jim Rutherford and Patrick Allvin now have their guy. Okay, they have their guy in place that they want to see play their hockey. So they're building a team with his coaching style in the idea here. So that's all I got here. Okay, kill the fire, Alex.
Knucklehead jumped in the chat and said, Quads looks like he's going to star in the next Home Alone movie and favors one of the burglars.
Oh, yeah, I do kind of look like
people are commenting, yes, folks, I do need a haircut. My barber is on vacation for a month.
Can I say something about my haircut real quick to steal the spotlight from you?
Yeah, go ahead.
I got my haircut for a while ago, like 3 weeks ago, and I haven't even thought about getting one. I woke up this morning, I looked in the mirror, I said, my hair's like, it was in place.
It's good.
Yeah. So I'm happy with that. Last haircut I got, he cut it short enough to last for a few weeks here.
Okay, staying on top.
What's going on here now?
Okay, staying on topic here. Alex, can we please get the audio of Rick Tocchet talking today? Did you get this in to Alex? I told you 4 minutes before the show started that I wanted it. Do we have it in there?
We'll have to see. I think Alex has got it.
I think we've got it. This is Rick Tocchet talking about, and every time I say Tocchet,
his situation.
Yeah, the situation that he's coming into. It's in the same vein as what you were just talking about giving him a fair shot and wins and all this sort of stuff. Alex, let's get the audio here.
I mean, obviously, anybody's coaching title, you look at their record, right? It's a result-oriented business. And there's circumstances each coach has, right? So obviously, you're dealt the hand you're dealt, but the hand that I'm dealt it's the process. It's the way we do things. It's the way we become pros. It's the way we play on the ice, the commitment, without the puck, with the puck. It's the way you practice, how you prepare for practice. Those are the things that I really evaluate or is something that's a major priority. And whether you win or lose, you got to start that foundation, and that's something I'm going to build. And then you go from there. I mean, I honestly, do I want to win every game? Absolutely. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. I want to win every game, but I will say the fact that there's a lot of work to be done with the foundation here, and that's what I'm really concentrating on.
The hiring of Rick Tocchet right now, and the organization isn't going to use the word rebuild, right? Right now, if Tocchet stays true to this, and we'll talk about in a second what that means, what that looks like. Like, if you as a fan, it's great. We've all heard lip service over the past 10 years, whatever. But you need to know how to look for these things. And you need to know, okay, he says this. What does it look like in practice? So we'll get to that in a sec. But what I'm trying to say, Chris, is it sounds like, just right now, what it sounds like is that there is an organizational shift in focus that has been efficiently communicated to Rick Tocchet, or at least he feels comfortable enough saying this publicly. I'm going to say it's been communicated to him that he's allowed to say stuff like this. Like, he obviously knows, and Allvin said this himself, that this isn't a quick fix, and he knows he's not being evaluated on, well, we got to get a bunch of wins down the stretch here. Let's turn this puppy around. Okay? It's an organizational focus to play good, structured hockey, run the 4 lines that he's talking about, and weed out who isn't going to work in that system, who isn't going to work playing how you see. We talked about yesterday, successful teams around the league. They're rolling 4 lines, Chris. They're not playing one defenseman 30 minutes a night every single night. They're not playing their top guy, their top center on the power play, the penalty kill, and playing him 23 plus minutes a night. That's not happening. That's not what good teams do. So if you're able to roll those 4 lines, and I don't think the Canucks are. If you say, are they able to? They should. I hope they do. They're not going to get a bunch of wins in the process. Like, if you want to win with this roster, if you put Rick Tocchet in and you said, Rick, we need you to get a bunch of wins, he would do what Bruce Boudreau did last year. Because, hey, that's what Bruce Boudreau was hired to do. Bruce Boudreau wasn't hired to lay down the foundation, right? And again, that's where this shift in focus.
Why? Because Bruce Boudreau wasn't hired by this management group.
Exactly. And that's what I'm trying to say is this is where this change in focus comes into play of, look, Rutherford was told about Boudreau's hiring, right? Like, he knew Boudreau was the coach. Admittedly, he said himself, he only thought it was for 1 year. So in his mind, he probably thought, okay, we're going to get through this year. I'm highly doubting, I don't have this confirmed, I am highly doubting that when Francesco Aquilini hired Bruce Boudreau, that he said, Bruce, we really need to retool and rebuild this team. The coach and the GM were the problem here, but we also think that we have deeper problems that need to be addressed with a coaching change and all that sort of stuff. I don't think that's what happened. I think what happened is we like our team and we think they're capable of more. Look at all our top players here, and Elias Pettersson and Bo Horvat. Elias Pettersson isn't working. Bruce, can you come help with that? And hey, to his credit, Bruce did the job he was asked to do. The job description changed this year. And that's why, and I don't want to keep talking about Bruce. I've said it on the past 3 shows. I don't want to keep bringing it up and be, oh man, he got mistreated. I understand it's not a great situation. I'm not trying to say that the Canucks are absolved of any wrongdoing or anything like that. I'm not trying to say that. What I am trying to say is on this show, I want to move on here. Like, I want to move on.
Yeah,
and again,
I get it.
Bruce got a raw deal in Vancouver. Like I just said, the job description changed. The job description literally changed for Bruce Boudreau. And now we're seeing Rick Tocchet doing the job that management wants him to do, right? I'm hopeful. I'm very hopeful, Chris, that this remains true, that Rick Tocchet does what he says he's going to do in the sense of implement structure, build these good habits with these guys, right? Like, not, well, we're just trying to get wins, so we are going to play Elias Pettersson all these nights. We're trying to get wins, so JT Miller's not playing great at center, so we're going to put him on the wing. No, put him at center. You paid him like a first line center. Play him at center. Let him work on those things. And to his credit, Miller was open with Tocchet apparently right away, saying, "Hey, I want to work on some things and I want your help."
Mm-hmm. And you know what else Tocchet mentioned today in his media availability was like, there are going to be times where you get say the other team ices the puck, like Miller's going to go out and he's going to play wing. But he also mentioned that, he's very comfortable with a big center like JT Miller running down the middle. And, you look at the way Tocchet plays, he likes heavy players. He likes players that have that size down the middle and certain things like that. So it's going to be interesting to see how he meshes well with an Elias Pettersson, right? Like this really worked for Pettersson under Bruce Boudreau and a lot of what he was asked to do. I think this is going to be an interesting to find out. But there was another thing that was mentioned today, and these are the things that you'd like to see as the season goes on, like you just mentioned, is yes, you want to see that structure put into place, and you want to see the players, like you said, lean out some of these players that don't make it, the players that don't, if they don't
weed out,
whatever, you know what I'm talking about. What another thing he mentioned though was that, like, Quinn Hughes might end up playing on the right side. He said, like, that'll probably happen this year. Quinn Hughes will probably get on the right side again this year. He's going to try some different things, see what works best for this team. And think about it as well. This roster that we're going to see on tonight's game, during tonight's game, is going to be very different than what we see at the end of the season.
Yep.
I think there's going to be a lot of different changes to this organization with roster stuff in specific. I mean, and Podkolzin's going to be back up here. Bo Horvat's going to get traded. All this stuff is going to really change, but I think it is going to be more about the process. And I think that's going to be more understood from like a coach's perspective, because it's like Rick Tocchet said, he wants to come in here, he wants to win games, right? Every coach wants to win games. You look, like he said off the top of that quote, coaches are judged on their record, right? Like that's the way it is for sure. But if you're here and you have 2 more years on your contract after this year, you understand a little bit of what they're trying to build here. He's been around Albie. He's been around Rutherford. That's why there isn't a lot of excuses for kind of understanding how this team can benefit from not necessarily tanking, because we know this. A coach is never going to tell his players not to win the game. Players are never going to go out there and try and lose the game. It's about how management makes that direction towards losing games and how they change things up. Like, you're going to lose more games this year if you trade Bo Horvat for picks. That's what's going to happen. You're going to lose more games if Kuzmenko's not here to help your power play. These are the type of things that management has to do. There's nothing on the players or the coach for tanking. None of that. All of that is on management to make those decisions to set yourself up for that.
And Knucklehead jumped in the chat, and maybe my point wasn't made clear enough, so I'll just read Knucklehead's comment because it is basically what I was trying to get across. He said, yes, but consider that if they roll 4 lines, we will play worse. Their plan is for Tocchet to play his system and hope they can get the right players to play the system. Sounds like a clear rebuild. Again, that's what I was trying to say is... And again, it goes back to this conversation that I don't want to start up again, but I don't care what you call it. I don't care if you call it a retool, a rebuild. I don't care what you decide to call it. This is a move that I like. When I look at what they're doing right now with bringing in Rick Tocchet and again, I like it on the surface. Let's see it actually put into place. Let's see if Tocchet late in game says, you know what, I really want to get this dub. So we're going to, short bench, whatever.
Sure, but that'll happen. Like, that is going to happen.
Yep, they're going to go for wins. But I don't want to see it compromised in the sense of, you know what, we are going to have to play Quinn Hughes 25 plus minutes a night. And Austin jumped in the chat and made a good point. Like, Cale Makar was playing a lot before he went down. Look at that Colorado team right now, right? Like, they were banged up, and they had to play the Canucks method. Like, they had to rely heavily on Cale Makar. Not saying that they don't normally, but he was playing a ton before he got injured. And now, that team's getting a little healthier and things are looking a little better for them. But, that's still an injury to your franchise defenseman. Why risk that with Quinn Hughes in a season that...
Totally agree with that.
Yeah, anyways.
I also agree with maybe... You got to see what Will Lockwood looks like killing penalties more. You got to see what Podkolzin looks like killing penalties. Linus Karlsson's a guy who's killing penalties in the AHL. You want to see what he looks like killing penalties. Like, you want to really, and this is something I think that you can take away from the Tocchet conversation that he did for his introductory press conference anyways, was, he mentioned, Quinn Hughes and Elias Pettersson when kind of asked about those guys and killing penalties, that they might not be doing it so much, right? I'm like, okay, maybe you can get Quinn Hughes probably off the penalty kill, right? But right now he's one of the better penalty killing defensemen on this team. I know that you can just look at the body type and be like, nah, like, it's not... Quinn Hughes doesn't look like a penalty killer at the NHL level, but unfortunately the defense core is just that bad that Quinn Hughes is one of the top 4 defensemen to go in there and kill penalties, but he probably shouldn't be, right? On a really good team. Like, he should be the guy who you really want to use all that energy at 5-on-5 or on the power play and stuff like that. But with Pettersson, it's more interesting to me because it's like, he's really good at killing penalties, right? Like, I like him in that spot. I don't think it just needs to be bottom 6 guys in that role, but that you definitely need to have some players on this team where, like, let's bring up like Dakota Joshua. Brings a lot of energy at 5-on-5. Is he one of the guys who's out there killing penalties a lot? No. Should he be out there instead of JT Miller? In my eyes, absolutely.
Yep.
Like, JT Miller should not be on the ice killing penalties. He should absolutely not be on the ice killing penalties. Corey's got a list here. Lockwood, Podkolzin, Lazar, Mikheyev, Bo. Yeah, exactly. I would still put Pettersson on that list because I think he does such a good job of the way that Tocchet spoke about the Boston Bruin guys, how Marchand and Bergeron do such a good job of killing penalties. It's like that with me with Pettersson, where it's like he also gets a lot of scoring chances when shorthanded. And I'm still surprised that we haven't seen a consistent run of, I know Pettersson's not going to be the best faceoff guy, but he's working on it. And I think he could improve on it. It's got to be Pettersson and Mikheyev first guys out there. Because, like, you get a scoring chance the other way to start another team's power play, you are already gaining so much momentum, and momentum's massive in special teams. And right now the Canucks have probably the worst momentum on the penalty kill in the whole league. So they need to start doing a few different things. And we heard it from Tocchet today when asked, like, are we going to see some different bodies killing penalties? And he said, yeah, tonight we're going to see different bodies killing penalties. I hope JT Miller doesn't go out there for a second on the penalty kill.
I'm really interested to see, obviously, if Elias Pettersson still kills penalty, but the one thing I want to bring up, and I want you to consider, and every listener, obviously, when Elias Pettersson's confidence was really low, I did the Drance thing there where you really pause for effect. But when Elias Pettersson's confidence was really low, right? Bruce Boudreau came in and put him on the penalty kill. Like, if you recall, Elias Pettersson, and I'm not trying to pause for effect. I'm really gathering my thoughts here. But if you recall correctly, Elias Pettersson wasn't lighting the world on fire as soon as Bruce Boudreau stepped behind the bench. Like, I don't want to say that there's this narrative out there that that's what happened, but I think people may need their memories jogged a bit that, no, Brock Besser really saw a spike in production when Bruce Boudreau first came. There was a lot of guys that benefited from it, but Elias Pettersson wasn't instant, right? Like, it wasn't instantaneous for Elias Pettersson, but then he started killing penalties through that time, and you started to see him get confidence in other areas of the ice. And I've talked to Elias about this, about, what does it do for your confidence to just be helping the team in any way you can? And again, it's hard to be confident when you're not helping the team. And he said, like, yeah, that played a part in it. So I'm not saying that Pettersson is going to lose his scoring touch if he gets off the penalty kill, but I also look at it and I say, okay, well, if it ain't broke, don't try to fix it. Because like you brought it up the other day, well, what if the Canucks take 2 or 3 penalties and Elias Pettersson logs, like, I don't know, like 5 minutes of ice time or 7 minutes of ice time in a period or whatever, right? Like, I don't know. I'm curious. I'm curious to see if he's used there. I would like to see it. I would like to see Elias Pettersson on the penalty kill, and I don't think that's a hot take because, like you said, he's this team's best penalty killer, offense or defense, like forward or defender. He's the team's best penalty killer.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people would see the way that he kills penalties and think, yeah, but he's not getting in front of shots and blocking them like a typical guy who just eats pucks. And it's like, no, but I don't think he needs to do that. I feel like he should block shots. If there's a shot that happened, like Pettersson's going to have to block it if he's on the penalty kill. But it's more about just how he reads plays and understands a power play and how the puck moves around there so well. That's what I think he's such a good penalty killer. Do you want to move on to best case, worst case here? Actually, we got to do
in a sec.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I have a comment I want to get to.
The people in the chat are just having a field day today. It's a really funny chat today, which is great.
Tuesdays are a little funny for people because I feel like they had their work day yesterday, and then they like come in here and they're like, you had a work day behind you. You're starting to cruise into the week. Tuesdays, like, to me, it's like that's when the week starts to ramp up.
Many people pointing out that I got the bowl cut rocking today. I would be wearing a hat. My barber's gone. I think I might do a buzz cut. We're gonna talk about wigs for kids.
Yeah, Alex, in a moment get a bowl and put it over his head there. It's some upside down.
We're gonna talk about wigs for kids in just a second here, but I want to quickly get to these comments.
I got one too. I want to get to.
So I hope I didn't come across as too harsh on Bruce Boudreau because people were having some fun with that in the chat. Sterling Wilson said Quads is ready to move on with his life. Bye, Bruce. Yep. And then Cody Severson jumped in the chat and said, David Quadrelli supports Canucks treatment of Bruce Boudreau. My latest radioing for Canucks Army. Canucklehead in all caps. It's all in the Quads plan. Disgraced beloved head coach Bruce Boudreau. Check.
Yeah, I got Cody muted on my computer. I can't see anything. He says
Cody's got some good ones. Okay, go ahead.
Jeffro's got a good one. I like this one. This is a little change of topic. Then you got to get to Wigs for Kids here in a minute. Jeffro said, anyone find it weird seeing Adam Foote in Canucks colors? I'm going to have to pause the TV tonight just to look at him on the ice for a good 10 minutes. Yeah, I guess, and somebody replied, I think he's going to be wearing a suit, so he won't be in Canucks colors. But it is strange. But can I say something? Sergei Gonchar in the Canucks black skate I like that look. Okay, I think Foote is going to look strange in the Canucks blue when we see the blue and green, just because like I remember the Avalanche days of Adam Foote, and like that was a big rival. That was a guy who used to punish the Canucks in the corners, right? So that's going to be kind of strange to see him in the blue and blue and green. But I think Gonchar in the black skate looks good, man. All right, Wigs for Kids. All right, our buddy Joey.
Yeah, our pal. Sorry, Joey Pitt. Big sip of water there.
Big Joey Pitt, by the way, an absolute all-star of what he does in the BCHL as well, with his PA announcing, his play-by-play. I know the league's been using him for some all-star stuff. So shout out to Joey.
They should.
I've seen Joey's out in Abbotsford too. He does a good job with Abbotsford. I think he'll probably be out there tonight because I think when Al Murdoch's doing Canucks in Vancouver, that's when Joey gets out there. He does a really good job out there.
Good. Okay, so we'll talk about Joey, and of course, the BCHL's Surrey Eagles. They are proud to be partnered with Wigs for Kids BC and the BC Children's Hospital Foundation. We've talked about it before. Wigs for Kids BC provides funding to cover the cost of custom-made human hair wigs for children and teens at BC Children's Hospital who have suffered hair loss due to cancer treatments or other serious illnesses. Donations to Wigs for Kids BC also help families pay for medications and feeding supplies that are essential for treatment but not covered by their medical plan. When a child has a serious illness like this, it takes an enormous toll on the entire family, both emotionally and financially. The assistance that Wigs for Kids BC provides makes the family's burden a little lighter so they can focus more of their time and energy on caring for their sick child. As we mentioned, the Eagles play-by-play broadcaster and our pal Joey Pitt who's got one heck of a head of hair, is trying to raise $15,000 for Wigs for Kids this year, culminating in him shaving his head at the end of the season and donating it to be made into a wig for a lucky kid in the province. Donations to Wigs for Kids BC. The link is in our podcast description and on YouTube.
Blow me up, Alex. I got an update, January 6th update of Joey here. I got to link is in the description, and here's I got the page right here.
Wow. And for those on the podcast, it's down to his what do you call that? Traps.
No, he's near shoulder.
Past the traps.
Yeah, but he's curly too. So if you pull that down and you stretch it out, you put a little water in there, a little moisture. Yeah. You stretch that out. We're talking 12 to 14 inches.
That is a head of hair. So I was just talking about shaving my head,
and I've seen it. He posts the highlights. Shout out to the Surrey Eagles. Do such a good job. Listen, I grew up in the Nanaimo Clippers with my boys in BCHL. They don't answer anything I say. Okay, so I'm calling out the Clippers. They don't follow. I tweet at them. I tell them stuff. I did the Bowen Road call last year in the AHL when I was on the broadcast. Nothing from the Clippers. Surrey Eagles, they're doing it right over here. And Joey's posting videos of him flowing his hair out. Oh, they're doing good stuff over there. And Joey, look at this. $3,400 already he's got raised. And I want to pump that number up.
I think good
stuff, Joey.
I think you never mind. I'll see if someone noticed that. But I got to reach out to Joey to see if me shaving my head, if I could donate whatever's up here. There's not much, but I don't know. Maybe a kid wants to.
It's got to be 12 inches long.
Does it really?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Well,
that's why he's crossed that.
Yeah, I don't even think I could do that when I had my long hair. I wasn't 12 inches.
I tell you what, you put enough of the right gel in there, you could shave yours off, and it would turn into a bowl, a perfectly sized salad bowl. You wouldn't even need to curve it around.
I might have to sell my hair to Spirit Halloween for their Dumb and Dumber costume.
Yeah. That would work.
Okay, let's move on here. Best case, worst case. Chris, you start it. Let's go.
Right, let's start with the best case scenario for the Vancouver Canucks moving forward here. Okay, we had this conversation off air actually yesterday, and I know we wanted to kind of have a Monday to kind of wrap up the weekend, but now we can look forward. You talked about it. You don't want to talk about Bruce Boudreau anymore. You already forgot about him. Best case scenario for the Canucks in this season playing out here with Rick Tocchet. What are a couple things? Because I don't think there's a perfect scenario that's going to happen. But let's talk about a couple things that kind of lean towards the best case scenario. I'd love to see anything in the comments here as well. We see a lot of people in the YouTube chat right now. What are some things you'd like to see as the season goes on here that would lean towards the best case scenario situation for this Canucks team? Because in my eyes, a big thing is going to be watching this team improve their defensive play. That's damn obvious, right? This team's near the bottom in 5-on-5. Goals against per 60. You want to see that number come down. You're likely going to see that number come down if you have a healthy Thatcher Demko coming back as well. I just would like to see, you watch this Canucks team, and I understand there's a lot of pressure on the goaltenders, right? From just the way that they have to play with the defense core that they have in front of them and how many open shots they get from the slot. That's the main thing I want to see this team change is defend the slot and the front of the net better. There's got to be a better way to do this with a defensive structure. And listen, I'm not an NHL coach. I don't know the full structure of how to defend defensively. I can just see how many shots the Canucks give up in the slot compared to how many they're able to get. That needs to change. That needs to, how you defend the slot needs a massive thing to change with this organization. That's one of the big things I think would help this team best case. But the absolute best case scenario, and I see Dick Dosky in here in the chat here. That's probably a name that just got me. Pulled it up. Alex, what is the best case scenario here? I got a photo of it. This here, to me, is the best case scenario. Boom. Draft lottery simulator. How many times did it take me for this to happen? Vancouver at the top. That is still the best case scenario. So I want to see this team shut down a lot more of these scoring chances, these grade A scoring chances. But heck, I'd still like to see the Canucks finish as close to the bottom as possible, give them the best chance for this draft lottery so you can have a result like we have on the screen right here with the Vancouver Canucks winning the draft lottery. What about you, Quad? Something for best case scenario. Before we get to the worst case scenario, because I want to start with the positive. We're on a roll here.
Yeah. I feel like I've laid it out.
Chances. I don't want to see the slot just be wide open for everyone.
Yeah, I feel like I've laid it out pretty clearly.
Quad's plan, yeah.
Earlier. I want to see Rick Tocchet stay true to his word. And look, if we see a change in philosophy, I'm not criticizing Rick Tocchet over it. That's all I'm going to say. If we see Rick Tocchet come out and say stuff like, it's not so much about getting wins, it's about laying down the foundation and all this structure stuff. If we see a change in philosophy there, one, I'll ask Rick Tocchet about it, obviously. I'm not blaming Rick Tocchet if there's a change in philosophy there.
Sure. Take some L's along the way of building this team the right way. Absolutely.
That's what I want to see. I want to see this team. Yep. And again, people call it the stealth tank, call it a rebuild, call it a retool. Don't care. I want to see moves that I like.
You know what I'd love to call it? A goddamn plan. I'd love to actually see a plan come into action here with this Vancouver Canucks team more than anything. You can call it a stealth tank. You can call it a retool. Call it a rebuild. At least just give Canucks fans a plan.
Yep.
And if your plan is to just get this structure underway, try every player in the damn organization. Get Alex Canuck-Liepert signed. Bring him up for a couple games. I know everyone wants to see him fight someone in the NHL. Everything. Try everyone.
Beyond whatever.
Try the Swedish House Mafia as your fourth line. Do everything. See how they look under Rick Tocchet and the way he wants to play. Get Christian Wolanin up here. Get Jack Rathbone in the lineup. Do it all.
Beyond what
do
I've already.
Do it all, man. You have the full runway where there is no expectation. There's no expectation for the Canucks to win games. There's an expectation from Canucks fans that they hope they can finish near the bottom. That's what Canucks fans are kind of like hoping for right now.
All you have to do is lose, Rick Tocchet.
There's no expectation for wins here in this market. And I think that's understood by a lot of people who want like a break it down, rebuild thing. But it's also understood by the fan base who just saw the coach that they love and love to cheer for, that go into the arena and were cheering for Bruce Boudreau. They don't have that anymore. So now you just have no expectation for people going to this arena wins. They just want to see some structure, some development, trying everything. Like, in my eyes, 1,000% Jack Rathbone should be back up in the NHL when he's healthy. Try him out. Because what are you doing? What are you gaining from Riley Stillman? Nothing long term. Like, get some opportunities for some of these guys. Maybe you even like. I actually just saw Ben Lipka come in here again. Bring Jet Wu. Try him as a forward. They did it in Abbotsford. I don't know about that, but like every option that you have, try it this year, right? Like, I don't know, man. There's so much. Unless you really have like the only player that I look at in Abbotsford that I wouldn't touch that has an NHL contract is like, let Klimovich keep doing his thing. That plan is working down there. But everybody else, give him a shot. Show him what like. And you know what? It probably helps you're getting closer to more L's on the season. If you're playing guys from Abbotsford, sure. But hey, maybe one of these guys, maybe the way that Linus Karlsson plays, like, yeah, he's not quick, but he's big, he's strong. In the AHL, he's looked pretty good defensively for what he's done. Like, maybe he's a guy who fits, like, everything, right? Like, I think there's, like I said, with no expectations, you can really not have to answer to anyone for wins and losses. I think that the remainder of this season, the media, the fans, everyone, nobody's going to care if you lose every single game this year. They will care because they'll be happy. So there's a plan that needs to be executed from management. There's a plan that needs to be executed from the coach. The players aren't included in making that plan. They're just going to go out on the ice and play. And if they play to the style that the coach wants and they can build that structure up, huge win and huge thing for this Canucks organization moving forward.
Yeah.
Now, anything else for best case? What do you think?
Well, I mean, best case is a home run of a trade deadline. I think Corey Anderson was the one that brought that up in our chat. Like, that is still, and as much as I like to talk about Rick Tocchet all of a sudden and all that sort of stuff about, oh, I like this decision, I like what he's saying. The most important thing for this team, beyond losing games, well, maybe losing games, getting the best draft lottery odds is most important. But I would actually say more important than that is hitting a home run at the trade deadline. Like, don't extend Bo Horvat. These reports the Canucks might have one last offer in them. Why? Why do you have one last offer here? You already put yourself in this position by extending JT Miller. You can't extend Bo Horvat. You made that clear when you signed JT Miller. You can't get both of these guys done. Don't sign Andrei Kuzmenko. Trade him if there's a good trade offer on the table. Now, if there's a contract that makes sense, sure. But if we're looking at what Kuzmenko could get on the open market, reports have suggested it could be like 5 years at $6 million or something like that.
Oh, Nelly.
Canucks can't be signing that. Or even 2 years at $7 or $6 million. Canucks have no benefit from that. Like, I don't quite. I think most importantly is a good trade deadline. Most important is a good trade deadline. This team needs to sell off as many assets as they can. And again, commit to the tank.
And it goes above it. I feel like we just keep going above each other, from the players to the management to the it's the plan, man. If you stay on this path, and even kind of lean into it more than just thinking you could be competitive in 2 years. Like if you lean into it more of actually restructuring, rebuilding, retooling, whatever you want to call it, if you lean into it the right way and you stay on this path and don't twist and turn and think that coming into next season, you're a real competitive team that can win a Stanley Cup. Like, no, like stay on the plan. If you can stay on the plan for this season. And I think that, like I said, there's no excuses to win. There's no excuses for management now because they don't have their guy in the right spot. They have all of it. There's no more excuses. There's zero excuses able for these groups. Now they have to be heavily criticized if they don't stick to this plan. Now, worst case scenario. Pull this one up, Alex. This is the worst case scenario. The Canucks get an incredible bump from their coach. They continue to just score a bunch of goals, or maybe some players really start to take off. They also have the third easiest remaining schedule as this season goes on here. Only the Flames and the Kraken have an easier schedule than them. The worst case scenario for me is, you end up winning a lot of games. You have a similar record to how Bruce Boudreau finished the year last year. And you end up picking like 14th, 13th, 15th in that range, right? And that's the worst case scenario. I don't think it's going to happen. Is it possible? Yes, it's possible. But I think hearing some quotes like the one that we ran earlier today, this is a different feeling. And it's like you said, Bruce was tasked with something very different than Rick Tocchet has right now, right? These two coaches, the situation that they came in here to Vancouver, vastly different. Bruce didn't think he was going to be here a long time. I think he knew it coming into this. It's an NHL opportunity. That was good for him. He got an NHL opportunity. He got a chance to, show the hockey world that he can still coach an NHL team and have success. Accomplished for him. He showed that. I think he's going to get another job somewhere. I don't know if it's a head coaching job. He might. But this is a very different situation and an ask of what they're asking from Rick Tocchet, where it's coming in, and he's going to be here for 2 more years after this season, for sure, maybe even more. Like, it's a very different look, so I don't think, like, if I had to guess, and man, I try and be, like, positive about this team to a certain degree for the outlook, but I do feel, again, more positive than I do negative after just thinking that they can stick to this plan and hearing the way Rick Tocchet talked about it. It's got to give you a little bit of hope. If they can just stay on this path of a retool, rebuild, things where you actually do take a step back. Because it's like every time the Canucks try to take a step forward or try to improve or try to do something or just stay on the weird path they've been on, they keep taking like a step down the wrong path. And that's what's been screwing them up so much. That's what the OAL trade made you look like for your organization. Frank talked about it yesterday. How bad did that screw up the organization? Huge, because they took a step down the wrong path. Just so many situations like that where this team is taking a step down the wrong path. It's laid out for them, the right path that they have to take. They have all of these assets in Luke Shen and Andrei Kuzmenko and Bo Horvat that can get you so much at this trade deadline. You can really retool up your prospect pool here moving forward from what you have to deal at the deadline. Just stay on that path and you'll be all right. But the worst case scenario would be running into that 12, 13, 14, 15 spot in the draft because your team went on a run and you played the wheels off of Elias Pettersson and Quinn Hughes. So I like hearing the quotes from talking about that not being something he wants to do.
Yep, exactly. I agree with it.
I still say Pettersson should kill penalties, man.
Yeah, totally.
Almost lost it there. Too much sugar in these drinks. Well, 0 sugar in the energy drinks, but
anyways, odds and ends. Let's go.
Odds and ends. Okay, got a couple prospect things to get to here. Kirill Kudryavtsev. Okay, dude's putting up a lot of points as an 18-year-old in the OHL. I don't think he's earned the level of like I need to watch him every night yet. But I tell you what, next year when he's back in the OHL as a 19-year-old, Kirill Kudryavtsev, the defenseman out there, Sioux Greyhounds, Cristiano Ronaldo's favorite team. Kudryavtsev's going to rip it up next year, I think, offensively. He's already the power play guy at 18. You watch what he does next year in the OHL, he's going to catch a lot of people's eyes. Jacob Truscott had a big weekend too, okay? Did you see this, Quads? Jacob Truscott?
I edited Blackfish, so I do know this, actually.
Big weekend. Blow it up here, Alex. Jacob Truscott, couple goals this weekend for Michigan in a big matchup against Minnesota. So Michigan, they're coming in number 8. Okay, in the NCAA ranking. Minnesota number 2. Check this one out from Jacob Truscott. I'm going to play it out for the people on YouTube. He walks the line. Defensive guy normally gets a shot off here, but really follows it up and gets himself involved offensively in a nice shot. In a big game, 2 minutes left in the second period, 3-3 game. Puts him up 4-3. Huge goal for Jacob Truscott. What does he do later in the game? wins it in overtime, and he's on the ice with Luke Hughes. They got 2 defensemen in a 3-on-3 situation, and Truscott 2 goals in a massive game this week. And I tell you what, not only like this is something I've heard from talking to a lot of agents and some scouts as well, is you got to really look at the NCAA and not just look at stats, okay? Because stats are one thing. When you show up in a game like this one, as you're the number 8 team and you're matching up against the number 2 team in the NCAA, when you show up in these games, that's when scouts get excited about a player, okay? So, like, watch Jacob Truscott this year and watch the interest from the Vancouver Canucks, because I think unless Michigan wants to make him the captain and the guy, the face of the university's hockey team next year, and potentially the face of the university sports, right? Because Michigan hockey's huge. Like, football's huge there too. But I tell you what, you're captain of Michigan, everybody knows you on campus. It's a big deal for him to be captain of Michigan. I know that for sure. If they're going to set him up in that spot, he might want to go back, but I think the Canucks are going to push, and we'll see how hard they push to try and get Truscott to go pro after this year. I know that. That's all I got.
I like it. There was one other thing that I wanted to mention. Oh yeah, was that Adam Fantilli that set him up? Number 13.
Adam Fantilli, what are you talking about?
On Michigan.
On Michigan there?
Yeah.
Set him up. What are you talking about? He set himself up.
No, there was a center that who
No, that's not Fantilli. That's
okay.
That's
just asking.
Oh, Fantilli's a big lefty.
Oh, yeah. Shows you how much I watch draft prospects.
I
know Connor Bedard's really good this year.
He is good, yep.
Yeah. I actually didn't know.
He's a righty too.
I thought Fantilli was a righty, to be quite honest with you.
No, I think he's a big lefty, I'm pretty sure.
Are you sure?
I might be wrong.
I think you're wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Faber. Well, let me look it up first. Are you looking it up?
No, I'm not looking it up.
Okay, I'll look it up. Go ahead, Betway.
I don't want to be wrong here.
No, he shoots left. You're right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've seen him play before. I don't think he's number 13 either.
No, he's not. 6'2" lefty. Okay,
yeah, exactly.
Go ahead. Let's go.
What number is he wearing in the photo there? Is he 21?
I didn't see it. I was on Hockey DB.
Yeah, that's the problem with this Hockey DB people.
What, you think I'm going to NCAA.com?
No, I think you go to Elite Prospects.
Yeah, and then my computer would crash. We would have no show because of all the ads.
We'd still have a show here.
No offense, JD Burke. Love the guy.
Well,
Love Elite Prospects. Use it a lot.
I'm an EP Ringside subscriber, so I get the free stuff over there.
Okay.
I don't have to go through the ads or anything like that.
All right. So. All right. Betway, let's go.
Yeah. Betway. Pull it up here. What do we got? We got the Canucks are back in action, right?
Yes, they are, Chris. Yeah.
Tonight, they're playing tonight. Fantilli wears 19, so I was pretty close. Jeez, Louise, hold on a minute.
Oh my gosh.
This is the DB page for Adam Fantilli. This photo right here.
Yeah, you don't remember that? He did the Brandon Tanev. They did it as a joke.
Wow.
Yeah. They did Brandon Tanev the ice thing.
Okay.
As a joke. It was hilarious.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Didn't know that. Betway. Here we go. JT Miller or this. I tell you what. I saw this one this morning when I was doing my video. This feels like really good odds that you get either a JT Miller or Ilya Mikheyev goal at -150.
13 games without a goal for Mikheyev or 12?
Whatever. He's playing good hockey. These people, sure. I've seen a lot of people ragging on him.
Yep.
I think he's playing good hockey, man.
Yep.
I still think Mikheyev is playing really good hockey. He's creating. Watch tonight, okay? Everybody at home, watch tonight. Watch how many scoring chances Ilya Mikheyev creates. Okay, He doesn't get points every game, right? He doesn't score a lot of goals, but watch how many scoring chances he either creates by passing or just his straight up speed. He's making a massive impact into a game. Might not be putting out the points, but I tell you, I really like what Mikheyev's doing. Betway. Yeah. So that Miller or Mikheyev to score -150 to score a goal. $10 bet return you 1666. That's a little devil thing there. 666, isn't it? What's that?
Yes.
Yeah, you would know. So the Blackhawks to win, our second bet. The Blackhawks to win over 6.5 total goals and Elias Pettersson to score. So yeah, everyone, listen. I think the Canucks are going to lose.
Wow.
Everyone and their dogs, like, there's the big bump. They got this crappy Blackhawks team coming in. The Canucks are going to win. I'm going with them losing. I think the Blackhawks are playing pretty good hockey this year.
Okay.
Or not this year. Sorry. They are not playing good hockey this year.
I was going to say, like, what are you watching?
Last 8 games, they beat the Avalanche. They beat some good teams on the road here. They're starting a road trip. They want to get off to the right foot or on the right foot. Yeah, 19 plus if you choose to play. Jason Dickinson revenge game tonight. Chris. It's no clandestine that the Bruce bump was incredible and it was a lot of fun. But I'd say it's more about the process with Tocchet. He wants the process. They're going to play the defense today. We're going to see what happens. It's going to take a little while for this team to get it all set up. I think they lose tonight.
And tonight will be our first look at that. We'll be back tomorrow.
Plus 1,000 on the bet, though. That's what I'm saying. The Blackhawks to win Betway, you get the Pettersson goal and you get the bunch of goals tonight. Listen, because I don't think Tocchet's going to come in. We're going to see a 2-1 game right off the bat.
Yeah.
Okay, it's still the same damn roster here.
Yes, you can do video work.
That's
you can
what
do
I'm
everything you
rocking
want.
with.
Anyways, okay. We'll be back tomorrow to break down the game. For my co-host Chris Faber and our technical producer Alex Allard, my name is Dave Quadrelli. Thank you so much for another episode of
the day. Yep,
the Canucks Conversation.
I don't think I used it right. Clandestine.
Thanks for listening to Canucks Conversation. Hit the subscribe button to never miss an episode.
How about keep it to a thank you?